Imagine this, you're having a near perfect, amazing day. Seriously, the sun is out at its perfect temperature, the coffee is smelling right and hitting the right spots, and you feel completely on top of your game. Your day is productive, you're feeling exuberant, happy, calm, and everything seems near perfect. And then it happens. A tiny offhand comment from your coworker or your boss, a certain tone in your partner's voice in that voice message he left you. Maybe it's just a post that you saw from a total stranger while scrolling past online, or it was a comment from somebody that you do not know on a post you just made online. And that feeling of tranquility and peace is gone. Poof. And suddenly the whole day just collapses into million pieces. That feeling of peace is gone. It's replaced by a white hot flash of anger or agitation. A cold wave of anxiety sweeps through you. A deep sinking feeling of sadness creeps in. You are sent spiraling, and the rest of the day is a frantic scramble to get back to how you were feeling just a few moments ago. And suddenly, that perfect morning shatters into million pieces. That peace you felt is gone, replaced by a jolt of anxiety. The coffee now tastes like disappointment, and the rest of your day is a write off. And you start thinking, what is wrong with me? Was it even such a big deal for me to feel this way? If this sounds remotely familiar, I'm going to tell you something that might just change your life. Your reaction isn't a character flaw, it isn't a weakness in your personality. You're not oversensitive or crazy. It's a hidden tripwire in your brain that has been systematically growing since a childhood. An old security system that has been installed a very long time ago and is out of date. That system is running out of date software and is causing chaos in your life. These are the very infamous triggers. And you could be having many of such buttons in your brain. In this video, I'm going to hand you the owner's manual, a dummy's guide on how to fix these tripwires and to get control in your hands and to update the outdated programming in your brain. I'm going to show you how to be the one to be finally in control and to be in control of the switches for all your triggers. We are not talking about just gritting your teeth and just coping with these unresolved issues. We are going to tell you about the full scale of solution for your emotional revolution. It's time for you to take your power back for now and for good. Why does this happen to you? Let's be brutally honest for a minute. Living at the mercy of your emotional triggers is like trying to navigate a minefield blindfolded while juggling hundreds of flaming torches in your hands. You never know what is going to set you off, and the constant threat of the minefield going off on you, the detonation, the burst, the blast, is slowly and silently destroying the most important part of your life, your control over your emotions. Think about how this impacts your relationships, your career, your every aspect of life. How many times has a simple throwaway situation turned into a week long situation of mind games and mind war? You ask your partner, did you take out the trash? And a little bit of off tone in their sound or voice suddenly sparks the triggers. You're not just asking about trash, You are feeling ignored, you're feeling unheard, you're feeling disrespected and unimportant. You react with an intensity of 1000 minds going off at the same time. You react to it much bigger than the actual situation is, leaving your partner hurt and disappointed and confused. This cycle of explosion, unexpected triggers, exploding your reactions, creates confusion, and then eventually a wave of regret flows over you, and it is always a bad feeling. You feel guilty, you feel bad about it, you feel unhappy. And then, when it is people who you love have to walk on eggshells around you just to keep the peace, it's not a good situation for them and for you. What about your career? Your boss gives you some constructive feedback, maybe a suggestion to a different approach on a particular topic. And what happens is it triggers something like, you're not smart enough to do this job. You are not good enough. An old trigger, maybe a deep seated fear, is not going to just pull the trigger off, but it is going to blast the bomb in your head. Instead of collaborating, listening to your boss, having a adult conversation with them, you completely shut down, get defensive, and you start trying to defend, be defensive, explain how your way is the perfect way. This isn't being bad with criticism, or this isn't just about you not understanding how to handle criticism. It's an old wound that has been festering in your mind, that convinces that your entire profession is under attack because of this one constructive feedback. It tells you that your talent, your ambition, your self worth is worthless, and you become hostage of your brain's trigger. But the biggest and most damaging thing that you do is the damage that you do to yourself, your mind, body, and soul. Living like a puppet on these invisible strings of triggers is completely exhausting mentally, emotionally, physically, in every aspect of your life. You not only get mentally stressed, but the stress can fester into various serious illnesses, both physical and mental. You are trapped in a relentless cycle of anxiety, anger, and shame. Each trigger, it floods your body with multiple hormones like stress hormones, cortisol, and adrenaline. This isn't just a feeling, it's a physical assault in your mind. The amygdala of your part of your brain, it takes charge the moment it feels you are in a fight, flight, or freeze situation. And these triggers, they tend to activate the amygdala part of your brain. Your heart starts racing, your muscles tense, your digestion shuts down, your BP goes higher. Over time, this chronic activation of your body's alarm system can lead to serious long term health issues, from heart problems to weakened immune system to stroke to multiple other health related issues, both physically and mentally. These triggers make you feel powerless. You become a prisoner to your own brain's triggers, as if you are no longer in control of your life. But here's a secret: these are not random, these are signposts. There is a map that is pointing directly to your old wounds that are not healed and that are festering, poisonous thoughts and memories that makes your trigger become stronger and stronger and dangerous and more dangerous. And today we are going to learn how to read this old tattered map of your triggers in your brain and to rewire it, to create a new map with the most updated software that will not allow the amygdala part of your brain to have that feeling of fight, flight, or freeze. Let's talk about what these triggers really are. To get your power back, you have to understand what a trigger actually is, because most people they do not understand this and they get this completely wrong unless you have worked with a professional psychiatrist, psychologist, or a counselor to help you remap your triggers. We think the trigger is an external thing, don't we? A comment, an attitude, the email, a post, or something that someone is giving you externally. That's not the trigger, that's just the activator. The trigger isn't what happens to you, the trigger is what activates within you. It is the inner engineering of your mind. An emotional trigger causes an immediate and an intense reaction that is out of control and it feels way out of proportion to the situation. It's the difference between feeling annoyed at someone that cuts you through traffic and spiraling into a full blown road rage where you follow the person who cut you out on a traffic and you have an altercation or you get into a physical situation with them that could get you into a prison. These are two extreme ends of how one copes with a situation like that. And the later kind of a reaction, it leaves you uncontrollably out of control. You're not able to understand your own behavior, the words that come out of your mouth, the actions you take. You're shaking, you're furious, and it takes you quite some time to even calm down. Think of it this way: your life experiences since you are a child, a very little child, the moment you start understanding things around you, your relationships, the situations around you, there's every event, every experience, it installs a series of hidden emotional buttons all over your brain. These buttons they get wired directly to old unsolved wounds, memories of feeling rejected, moments of not being able to comprehend as a child the situation, sometimes moments of failure, sometimes abuse, sometimes when you feel unsafe or unheard, or sometimes when you were not given the basic necessities that you deserve as a child: food, clothing, shelter, safety, and compassion. The five pillars of childhood. Now, fast forward to today, 20, 30 years later. Someone, your friend or your boss, or a stranger on the internet, accidentally pushes one of these buttons. They say something completely innocent like, "Hey, are you sure that's the best way to handle this?" But that specific phrase, or the tone, or the way they said it to you, or the way they looked at you when they said it, is an exact match for a critical parent or a condescending ex or a experience that you had as a childhood with another person, an adult or a child. Instantly, an old dusty program launches in your brain, especially in the amygdala part of your brain. The brain, that part, it doesn't see that you have a helpful coworker, doesn't try to rationalize the situation. It pulls up the emotional memory of how you were belittled and how you felt in the childhood, in the past, as if it's happening right now. The rational part of the brain, it switches off, and the amygdala, the irrational part of your brain, where which should be activated when you're in a flight or fight mode. For example, if you're being attacked by a tiger, the rational part of the brain cannot help you. At that moment, you cannot weigh in your pros and cons. In that moment, your amygdala part of the brain is what you need to activate, which will make decisions for you: fight, flight, or freeze. You are not reacting to a simple suggestion, you are reacting to a ghost from a past that has triggered that fight, flight, or freeze activity. You're fighting a battle that's already over, and then there is no looking back. Psychologists have a fantastic name for this, the amygdala hijack. The part of the brain, which is the small almond shaped part of the brain that acts as your 24 by 7 emotional bodyguard, that security guard, and its only job is to scan for danger. And when it finds it, it goes into survival mode. It goes into the survival response of fight, flight, or freeze. This system is lightning fast. It's designed to bypass everything, your logical thinking brain, because then when a tiger is lunging, like I said, at that time you do not have the time to weigh the pros and cons. You just have to act to protect yourself. Here's the problem: your amygdala is a bit dramatic, over dramatic, and overreactive at times. Sometimes it just cannot tell the difference between the tiger or an emotional threat like criticism or a perceived threat of abandonment. These triggers, they tend to put all these three category of situations into the same bucket of threat. So when the button gets pushed, your amygdala screams, danger, 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 and it hijacks your entire system. It floods you with adrenaline and cortisol, and then it physically shuts down access to your logical part of the brain, the prefrontal cortex. And it says, do not think through this. We have to act and react immediately. The logical part of the brain, which says, let's think through this for a moment, step back, it is shut down and it's completely taken offline. It's only later, once the hormonal flood has receded and when your emotions become a little bit under control, that you look back on the wreckage, on the damage that you've created, and then that guilt and sorry and sadness sweeps through you. Then you look back at the wreckage, the damage that you have created, and think, what on earth just happened? So please hear this. Your irrational, disappropriate reactions to these triggers are not a sign that you're crazy or broken or do not have the willpower. They are signs that your brain's security system is completely out of date and the map that it has drawn is centuries old. Your triggers are messengers and they are pointing directly to the parts of brain that needs to be rewired and it needs to be updated to your most current situations. So where does this hidden outdated programming actually come from? To dismantle these triggers for good, we have to become the archaeologists of our own minds and dig out the dinosaurs of our brain. The vast majority of our most powerful triggers were coded generally at a very young age, like childhood, adolescence, or teenage years. As kids, our brains are story making machines. We try to comprehend what is happening around us. We create core beliefs to make sense of the world and our place in it. For example, if you had a parent who was always busy or who was distracted or who did not give much attention to you, who dismissed you, your child brain might have created a story to explain that. It tells itself, I am not important enough to be noticed. I am not worthy of my parents' attention or time. Now, fast forward 20 years or 30 years, you send your partner a text and they don't reply for a few hours. For someone else, you might just think that, oh, my partner is busy at work or something must have popped up where they cannot respond to me immediately. And I never told my partner that this issue was an urgent one for them to respond to me. But for somebody like you who has that trigger in the brain that you are not worthy or you are not important enough, your brain will deny the logical aspect of it and then it will go back and start triggering that danger sign within your brain. I am not important. I am not worthy. And the original wound that never got healed, it gets triggered and torn wide apart. and you react with a tidal wave of anxiety, anger, or aggression, completely baffling your partner who was just stuck in some work meeting. There are many common trigger installers that you can go back and figure out, but let's talk about the few key and most common ones. Number one, rejection or abandonment. If you felt left out by your school friends at a young age, or by your siblings at home, or you were somebody that did not get much attention from your parents, then it can create rejection or abandonment triggers in your mind. In current life scenario, a simple thing like a friend canceling a plan can seem like a fundamental rejection of your entire self. Second one, constant criticism or disapproval. An example would be if you had a parent who was constantly comparing you with other siblings or with somebody else that they wanted you to step up to in your performance at school or in sports, and they never approved of anything, and even the good achievements that you had as a child were dismissed or was not given importance. It creates an example of this kind of a trigger. So when you grow up, and for example, if you are in a situation where your boss gives you a constructive feedback, it might seem like a final blow of verdict to you, as if you are incompetent as a employee. Number three, feeling unsafe or being in a position of powerlessness. As a child, one of the key things that we need to provide every child is to make them feel safe and be always be known that they are going to be protected. If this was lacking in your childhood, if there was chaos, unpredictability, and if your parents did not make you feel safe or made you feel that you were being protected every second of your childhood, then these kind of triggers can be built in your brain. For these triggers, a simple thing as an adult, like if a friend cancels at a last minute for a dinner plan, could make you feel very much, unsafe, or you feel as if you are unwanted. Because it reactivates that terrifying feeling of having no control, of feeling powerless. Number four, feeling unheard or invisible or not being validated as a existence or as a child. If you have been through these experiences in your childhood, and if these triggers were created in your brain, then even being interrupted in a meeting in your adulthood can feel as if somebody is disrespecting you, or as if somebody is being extremely rude to you, or if somebody is trying to invalidate you, or as if you feel like you're invisible. These are just examples. There are many list of triggers that we can come up and make another video on, just to go through the list of triggers that can happen in your mind. These triggers are emotional fossils. These are old tools that you use to survive once, that were necessary for you as a child or as a young adult. What happens is, as you grow older, these wounds, they've never been treated or healed, and that old program in your brain is still running on autopilot in your adult life, where the context has completely changed, but your brain doesn't realize it. It's like trying to navigate downtown Manhattan with an old ancient map of Roman Empire. It's not just unhelpful, it causes collisions. So your first mission is to trade judgment for curiosity. When you get triggered, you want to ask yourself a question. What is the root cause of this trigger? What am I actually feeling in this moment? Is it an old story that got reactivated? Is it about blaming the past? Or is it about understanding that the new programming has got nothing to do with what your brain has stored from your past experiences? Let's talk about the off switch, the 3-step guide to take back control of your triggers. Okay, understanding the why is crucial. But let's get down to the mechanics of how. How do you actually build an off switch for your triggers and do not allow the hijack of these trigger switches? The goal is not to stop having feelings. The goal is to create a small pocket of space, a teeny tiny pocket of space between the trigger and your reaction. It's called the sacred pause. This pause is where your power lives, your power to take back control of these triggers. That's where you get to choose your response instead of becoming a slave to your reactions. Here's a simple, proven 3-step process to use the second you feel that trigger go off. We call it the sacred pause, name, and reframe. Step 1: interrupt the circuit. The moment you feel that trigger, the moment you know your heart is going to race faster, the hot face, the knot in your stomach starts building, is to pause. This is the hardest part, but it is the most critical part. The moment an amygdala hijack is initiated, simultaneously you have to deliberately and consciously interrupt it. The pause, the sacred pause, is your emergency brake. Its only job is to stop the train wreck of reaction happening. And here's how you do it: breathe. Seriously, this is your superpower. Take a slow, deep breath in through your nose. Count till 4. Hold your breath for 4. And then exhale slowly through your mouth for 6. Do this a couple of times, a minimum of 3 to 6 times. The moment you do this, there is a direct message sent to your nervous system. We are not under attack. A tiger is not standing in front of me. This physically interrupts the stress hormone party that is almost getting started in your brain. And if possible, step away from that situation. If you can physically remove yourself from that situation, say something like, I need to take a quick restroom break, I need to take a minute, and walk away into another space, at least a couple of steps away. Physical distance always creates mental distance. It gives your thinking brain a fighting chance to get back online. Then engage your senses. Engage your senses. Quickly try to visualize what you're seeing around you. Use your eyes, your smell, your touch, anything to feel your senses. Even if it is just about touching your hands, your feet, your knees, just to feel various parts of your body, it takes away the focus from your amygdala. And this pause, it doesn't solve the problem, but it buys you time. It creates that precious window where you are not going to react and you are going to consciously respond. Step number 2: name it to tame it. This is based on the work of a famous psychiatrist, Dr. Dan Siegel, who coined the incredible, powerful phrase, name it to tame it. Here's the cool part: when you're flooded with emotion, the right side of your brain is in an overdrive. But the act of putting a specific name to the feeling forces you to use the left side of your brain, which is the side of logic and language. This simple act builds a bridge between the emotional and the logical parts of your brain, which then immediately calms the amygdala's firing. Brain scans have actually shown this happening. When people label their feelings, the alarm center quiets down and the rational prefrontal cortex lights up and it takes control in the driver's seat of your brain. You are literally soothing your brain with your own words. Here's how you do it. In your head, just state exactly what you're feeling when that trigger is about to switch on. Be specific. Just don't say I'm angry or I'm mad or I'm upset. Go deeper. Instead of saying I'm so angry at my boss, try to understand and say I'm feeling disrespected or I'm feeling unappreciated or I'm feeling inadequate. Another example. Instead of saying I'm upset because my friend cancelled our dinner plans, try to say I'm feeling abandoned or I'm feeling unimportant or I'm feeling rejected. Feel that shift, naming the core feeling beneath the surface of anger, of the trigger. It is actually helping your brain clarify the situation. It gets right to the heart of the old wound that was just poked. It reduces the intensity of the emotional pain and it gives you a priceless data about what exactly is going on. You stop being consumed by the feeling and you become an observer of the feeling. Step number three, reframe the story. Once you've paused to create that space and name the emotion to calm your system, the third thing to do is to get your thinking brain back in the game. The final step is to reframe the story of your trigger and tell that old story to go away and replace it with your more realistic adult perspective. This is about consciously changing your interpretation of the event. Ask yourself these critical questions. Is this story 100% true right now? Is the story that my partner doesn't care about me because they did not text me back in time? Or is it 100% undeniably untrue? Is it possible that they were driving or they were busy at work, they got stuck in a work meeting, or their phone could be on a silent mode? What is a more generous explanation? Instead of assuming that your partner is ignoring you, try to understand if there could be another possible logical reason for that event happening. Rather than allowing the triggers of your inner child feel abandoned, rejected, or feeling powerless, allow your adult self to take in control of how that feeling feels logical to you in your current state of situation of life. You are separating the feeling from the facts. You are honoring the feeling by saying, I feel the pain of rejection right now, but this does not have to be related to my childhood feeling of rejection. However, I know that my actual worth as a human being is not on the line because of one change of dinner plan or because my partner is not responding to me in a timely way. Practice these steps and slowly try to build. This is the gym that you are going to install for your brain. Every time there is a trigger that happens, you try to weaken the old reactive neutral pathway and you build a new conscious updated software map for your brain. You are literally rewiring your brain one step at a time. I know this is hard work and deep work. To make it easier for yourself, try to create a journal. I recommend creating a trigger tracking journal. Create a worksheet if you don't want to create a journal, and you run these steps and document them. Pause, name it, and then reframe it. And then become an active detective and archaeologist of your own mind. It's a very simple but an incredibly powerful tool for turning your triggers from line mines into a roadmap and updated software for healing. Go get it, go create it. The three steps are your in the moment emergency kit. But real lasting freedom comes from rewiring and reprogramming these triggers and to take power away from them. This is a long term plan and game. Few things that will help you do this. Number one, become a pattern detective. And having a journal or keeping a spreadsheet documenting these triggers will often help you figure out what is the bottom line, underlying root cause of these triggers. And soon these patterns will jump off the page. The trigger will no longer be a random, terrifying monster. It will become a predictable event that you can prepare for and you can control when it happens. Number two, get to know your body's early warning signs. Triggers, they just don't appear out of nowhere. They sometimes start building up slowly, and you can see physical reactions to it. A tightening in your chest, a hot flush in your face, a clenching in your jaw, a quiet little trigger of feelings that are erupting in your mind. A daily mindfulness or meditation practice, just for even 5 minutes, it trains you to notice these subtle signals that your body is giving you before the amygdala hijack takes full effect. It strengthens your brain CEO, the prefrontal cortex, to take more control of what is happening when these triggers get initiated. Number three, fortify your resilience. Think of your resilience as your emotional immune system. When it's strong, triggers have less impact. Master the boring basics. Get enough sleep, eat decent food, exercise, practice mindfulness. Take good care of yourself, mind, body, and soul. Number four, seek professional help when you need it. Sometimes our triggers are tied to significant trauma. It could have underlying mental health conditions, PTSD, and it could be incredibly difficult to manage this by yourself, alone. There is zero shame and massive strength in seeking professional support from a therapist or a counselor. It's a sign of strength, not weakness. You have to seek expert help when you need it to renovate your inner world. This work isn't about fighting yourself, it's about building yourself, finally healing your wounded parts of yourself, and treat yourself with compassion and kindness instead of judgment and shame. The ultimate truth about our emotional triggers is that they are not random malfunctions. They aren't proof that you're broken or weak or unable to manage your emotions. They are precise, personalized map pointing the way to the parts of that part of you that needs healing and it needs compassion. For so long, you felt like a victim of these overwhelming reactions. But now you know the truth. You know the mechanics. You have the power to make this change. You have the power of the pause. That sacred pause moment where you breathe and you give your rational mind a chance to take control from the irrational amygdala. You have the power to name what you're feeling using the magic of language to calm your brain. And the final step, you have the power to reframe the old disempowering stories, the old rusted map, and consciously update the software of your brain. Write a new, true, and empowering story for yourself. This is not a quick fix, it's a practice, it's a discipline. And if you have young kids, you need to start helping them do this as early as possible in their life. Do not allow the amygdala hijack to happen again. That's guaranteed it will happen. Until and unless you take control of it, you will be in its control like a puppet. The goal is not perfection, it's small steps of progress every day. Every single time you successfully navigate a trigger without allowing it to ruin your day, you are fundamentally changing your brain. you are proving to yourself on a neurological level, I am in control. You found the control panel and you are in control of that control panel. You are no longer just a character in the story, you are the author of the story. And here is my challenge to you. What is that one small step you can take this week to begin this journey? Maybe it's just promising yourself that the next time you feel a familiar surge of trigger, you will simply pause and take that one deep breath. That's it. Share your commitment in the comments below. Declaring it makes it real, and committing to it makes you remind that this journey is for you to be in control of. And we are all on this journey together. Thank you for investing your time in yourself. If you found this helpful, please like, subscribe, and comment, and share this video with your loved ones, and try to help others master their inner world. Until our next video, goodbye and thank you.